It's a lonely place. It's a lonely place to be in. You had a grand awakening, and every day it's a grand rising, and you're feeling these experiences and these emotions and witnessing things and paying close attention to the things that have always been going on, but you never really paid a close attention to it till now. You know, you notice, like, all my life I found feathers. All my life I've seen this time on the clock. Or all my life I've been able to see these, like with me, I've always saw these flashes of light. Yellow, blue, and white. And I was thinking, like, my blood pressure, but who got blood pressure problems, or I'm dizzy or something? You knew that not what it was, or something could be wrong. And you blink in your eyes because you feel as though something is, like, I don't know. But let me tell you, lately, my spiritual awakening has been lonely. I mean, I've been always a loner type, introverted type of person. But let me tell you, this has I really realized how lonely I was. I really realized that the connections that I thought I had, I was really not even connected to. They were actually plugged into me, and I was plugged into the universe. And that's why I was feeling so drained, because I was thinking that my power, my source was somewhere outside of me. And really it wasn't. It was on the inside of me. So your source, your supply is on the inside of you. Your friend supply, your love supply, your joy supply, everything you need is on the inside of you. And I promise, when you start reaching down on the inside of you and tapping into your joy, because that's nobody else's responsibility, and tapping into your peace, because that's nobody else's responsibility, tapping into things not of the world, but into a higher realm and a higher level, because actually that way of thinking just bothers you now. That third dimension materialistic way of being is just ew. And you know I'm not with that no more. And you're trying to figure out what's going on, baby. You just done stepped into another dimension on a higher plane of thing. I mean, you just elevated, and you didn't realize it until you started thinking you was alone and wanting to hang with your friends. And then when you get with them, you don't feel connected. You don't have a conversation for them anymore, because what you want to talk about and what they want to talk about are two different things. If you talk about what they talk about, it's turned into an argument, or if they try to talk about what you talk about, it is dead silence, and they're left sucking, and there's no even exchange. There's no energy there for you. There's no even exchange for you. There's nothing you can receive unless it's the joy of enlightening someone, and that's not always the case, because they're not enlightened. Eventually, you're going to get up to leave, and you're going to be the topic of the conversation. She crazy. She a witch. So just know that if you're embarking on this thing and you stumbled upon it, fell upon it, pushed into it, however you ended up in this place, just know that you are not alone. And if you are alone in presence, like saying, like, okay, I don't have anyone to talk to because nobody's understanding what I'm going through on this spiritual journey, and nobody's understanding why I say I don't want to do this anymore, or why I've gravitated from this anymore. There's no understanding with your connections anymore. Don't you know, the further away you get from the connections that you thought you had or were supposed to have, the more you connect with your spirit guides and your ancestors and your angelic presences that are there to protect you just from even stumping your toe, that are there to protect you from even bumping your knee up against something, your bad knee. I mean, you got angels in the outfield, and at my loneliest points is when I notice everything else around me. I mean, I'm not joking. When I noticed that I didn't have the people, and I didn't have friends, and I didn't have outlets, I had to go to my quiet places. Like where I live now, I'm torn from moving from here because it so spiritually connects me. Like y'all don't understand, like, it has this waterfall, and for 2 years I lived here and I heard talk about it, and nobody ever went. Nobody knew what it looked like. And so I asked directions. Come to find out, the waterfall is right behind my house where I live, the apartment complex. There's a graveyard beside it, and then the next turn would be into what it looks like just a place to park and maybe have a cookout or something. But there's a trail, and if you follow that trail, it'll lead you to different bodies of water. But if you keep going just a little further, you'll start to hear echo. You'll start to hear echo of water. It gets louder and it gets louder, and there it is, this waterfall that's just big enough for me. And I go there and I take my crystals and my sage and whatever, and when I look up, I see animals I ain't never seen before. Like, I went recently, and when I looked up, I saw 2 of the biggest black birds. I wasn't even too much trying to figure out what the world kind of birds those are. I just happened to hear the boom, 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 and it was the wings, and one sat on opposite sides of each other, and I was in the middle and they were on opposite sides, and they just sat there until I finished. And as I was closing up and picking up my crystals and cleaning everything up and getting out my fruit to leave, and stuff I was going to leave there for them, they started to fly away. And then another time, and I'm about to pass the place now, there's just a little landing, and it's just beautiful. You can just go park and just sit in your car and look at the water, or you can get out. And there's a lot of cleared off spaces because people go there. So I found a little space that someone has cleared off, and they keep it neat, and I can tell them it's a circle. So I don't know if what they're doing there, but there's a presence that I can feel that there's a presence that comes to that spot. So the last time I was there, which was August the 8th, 808, I sat there, and I had a lot on my mind because I was thinking about my grandmother, which was the day she died, 808, and I was just thinking about her, and I had a lot on my mind as far as, torn between the moving part, direction, just asking my spirit guides for directions, and showing me, just asking for guidance, just not knowing what to do at that moment, and whatever was going on with me. And I'm a very highly sensitive person. I pick up on a lot, and I was trying to make sure I wasn't picking up somebody else's feelings, because sometimes I can wake up with an ache somewhere in my body. It's not mine. I just say I send healing to whoever's hurting in their shoulders right now, and then it leaves, or it becomes unnoticeable to me. Oh, I can see the water from here. It's just so pretty, and it's so serene. And I'm an air sign, you know what I'm saying? I can't drink all that water, but for some reason, I'm drawn to it. I scared myself at the beach this year because I went to the beach and I started to walk out to the water when it got up to there, and it was at night. But I felt so drawn to talk to the water and to talk to my ancestors. And because that's where they are. They're full of water. The water is full of them. And so back to the story, I sat out there, and when I opened my eyes, literally opened my eyes, there were the 2 biggest white cranes, and one was grayish in color, but when I took the picture, they both were showing up white. I don't care how many times I took that picture and looked at it, they were white, but in my eye, naturally, one was gray and one was white. And they were the biggest, they were tall as me. I mean, this thing scared me. And around me were butterflies. And I was like, oh my God, I was trying to take pictures of everything. And I was so hurt and lonely and feeling like I need somebody to talk to. Nobody is understanding what I'm going through. And so I just pulled up there, and there they were to lead me and to guide me. And reassure me, So I just wanted to let you guys know that a lot of times when we feel lonely, that's the best place to be in. When we're alone, that's the best place to be in. All of your guides, your teachers, everything assigned to you starts to show up. It really starts to show up and show out. And when you look around, you really see the presence. You see your work, your manifestations. You see everything that just everything that you've reached out to the universe about. That's where you get your answers. I promise you. As a student, I learned when the crowd leaves, the teacher